Everyone wants to be man, but for some reason, some of them are not willing to become one. Because being a masculine, being a man, it's not just about strength or money or status, but being a man, it's about discipline, it's about controlling, it's about responsibility, and it's also about helping other people. Today I'm going to share my favorite advices and stoic recommendation about being a masculine, about being a man, about being a great man, right? Today I'm going to share I'm going to talk about what does it really mean to be masculine in the modern life, right? There's all the my favorite advices and recommendations which I'm going to share right now. They've been practicing by Stoic philosopher for 2 and 3 thousand years ago, right? So hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tommy and thank you for coming up here. I'm really appreciate it as always. Today's topic is we talk about some of the ideas and recommendation and how to be man, how to be masculine, how to achieve greatness, how to be well prepared part of society, right? Well, I will share my favorite advices, my favorite recommendation, which has helped me. Well, I cannot tell you that with confidence I am yet become masculine, but I'm on the right path to become one. I hope this advices and this recommendation is gonna change you. It's gonna help you understand your definition of masculinity, which you may have probably gotten wrong. Anyway, so without further ado, let's just get started. The first idea: own the morning. You're gonna own the morning. Well, I know it's not the most pleasant thing to do. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you have to master this habit. You have to wake up in the morning, right? The Marcus Aurelius, the guy who was emperor of Rome, he wrote one of the most beautiful and really great book ever, which is called Meditation. I'm holding right here. Meditation. That guy is Marcus Aurelius. He had a really great metaphor. He just really started his five book with a really great metaphor of having a trouble to get up in the morning. He said that I have to wake up in the morning as a human being. He would question if he was created in this world to handle the blanket and just enjoy the pleasant and warm temperature. He kind of urges to observe that all animal, all species, all insect in this world are doing the individual task to put the world in order. And who do we think we are to neglect our responsibility, ignore our purpose as a human being? And he said that people who love themselves, people who respect themselves, they would also love what their nature. They would also love what their nature is demanding them to do, right? He just point out that people who love what they do, people who love what they enjoy what they do, they wear themselves out, they tire themselves out doing so. So they forgot eating, drinking, also cleaning themselves, right? So we have to acknowledge there's a timeless debate we have been having over the decade, right? With our lower self and our higher self. Apparently, our lower self wants what? Our lower self wants desire. Our lower self wants pleasure. Our lower self wants immediate gratification. Our lower self wants to stay our comfort zone. But whereas our higher self wants recognize our potential, recognize our capabilities, recognize what we really meant for coming in this life. It recognize our fulfillment to achieve something as a human being, right? Marcus Aurelius said that you have to try to become man. The philosophy is trying to make you one, right? But this is gonna take time. It does require something, doing something from me. It does. You have to demand something from yourself, or other than just being a man that you just get away with being, right? And this is considered as a critical lesson, critical advice for a young generation, because you are meant for something. You are worth of something. You coming this life has something to do with. You have something to do some greatness in your life, right? So you have to realize it. You have to come to realization in much earlier, which will lead you to become a better person and great person as a human being. Our second idea, our second advice is virtues beyond gender. The Rome had a really specific understanding of gender, which I would believe totally different, totally varies from our understanding right now, which our understanding could be a little bit misunderstood, a little bit confused and puzzled. Rome understanding basically implied that everything that we're talking right now about being a good person, about being a great person, about being a masculine, about being a philosopher, all of them says they have nothing to do with gender whatsoever. And teacher of Epictetus, which I'm forgetting his name, he wrote a cool essay about which titled "Should Women Also Be Taught Philosophy?" He said, "Yes, of course, women also has to be taught philosophy because core of philosophy has nothing to do with gender whatsoever, right?" He also asserted by saying that virtues doesn't know gender. He just gave us really theoretical question. He said that it doesn't matter what's the gender of hunting dog or horse. It matters as long as they can accomplish their job. It matters as long as they do what they're meant for doing, right? Similar, something for heaven, something for us. Our job is to recognize our potential. Our job is to recognize our purpose, seek out our purpose as a human being. Our job is to practice kindness, our job to live in simplicity, our job to live with a contentment, our job to practice of helping other people. And the vast majority of things that we're talking right now have nothing to do with gender whatsoever. Okay, our third one, physical discipline and factual fitness. So Seneca quoted by saying that we treat body rigorously so it's not disobedient to the mind. This basically core idea underpins how Stoic people approach it to physical activity, right? Stoic people were really active. They were physically active, right? I think like we have a kind of big assumption how Stoic people look like. We may think that generally philosophers are same, they look same as professors who teach in universities or in school. We may think that they're all about studying, it's all about they're all nerds. We may think that philosophers are just have a bald hair or a big bald, but Stoic philosophers were really active. Seneca would have his annual plunges, and the Marcus Aurelius, who was emperor of Rome, except from that he was a general of the one of the most and vast majority of his army. He would practice horsing, he would practice hunting, he would intentionally practice sword fighting in his undominant hand, right? And the Stoic philosophers were in the army. There were wrestlers, there were boxers, there were runners. My point is, they would all try to embody Stirner's life. Stirner's life is a life which is built upon doing hard things. Stirner's life is a life which is built upon making hard choices and living by controlling one's emotion. Right? There's a one Latin expression which I will read for you. It means "Sanian comprona sono," which means that strong mind and strong body. It basically emphasized necessity of both to be complete one person, right? So I think you may have probably known that when you engage some physical habit or when you go to some sport, you understand that you come to realize that your body could be a liar, right? Your body might say that you don't have what it takes, or you are too tired, you're exhausted, or you cannot accomplish that task. But you have to understand that's your will, that's your mindset that will ride you, that will give you motivation to keep you going, right? Your mindset will tell you that, you know what, I have it more. I can accomplish that task. I can trust myself to be able to fulfill this destination, right? That's the challenge that Stoic philosophy would try to embody. That's why they would try to do rigorous exercise, right? For Stoic philosophy wasn't just intellectual pursuit, but that was inseparate from the active one. The Socrates, also one of the popular and really famous Stoic philosopher, he said that no one is except from take care of themselves physically because your country need you, because your family need you, your friend may need you, right? There's actually you have to I think you may probably know that currently modern generation young people are embarrassingly disqualified joining the army, which is considered as a national security crisis, right? Stoic people would always remind us to be use of society, to be use of your fellow people, right? This usefulness only could be achieved by taking off yourself physically, right? Understand what you're capable of, toughening yourself up for the great thing. And I think I believe that Stoic would have looked down on people who'd spend exclusive amount of time in gym, who would you know, and just in pursuit of being an athlete, right? Epictetus discussed that point of fitness is factual but not vanity, right? There is a modern expression of using a story or just letting one people's life consumed by gym or impressing other people, or all of them considered as vanity, right? Stoic people are interested to be functional of be functional, be strong of society, who can do hard thing, who can deal with hard thing, who's tough enough to deal with what the life may throw out their way, right? So people would practice being able to help other people, right? To be able to give lend a hand when hand is asked. So all of the beautiful achievement also were achieved by moderation, right? So you have to kind of accept fitness as a methodology for toughening yourself up, for taking care of yourself physically, so you can lead the mind wherever it wants to go. Our fifth idea: controlling your emotion but not eliminating them, right? The Marcus Aurelius said that it's not manly to lose our temper, right? It basically challenges stereotypes of athletes who throw the helmet or who punch the wall when they're angry, when they're frustrated, when they lose some competition. We think that they are masculine, right? But Marcus Aurelius said that this these behaviors are basically indication of lack of self-control, right? So, and Stoic would say that the great emperor is the one who command of himself. The Seneca wrote exclusively about the dangers of anger. He said that this is one of the worst emotion ever. He said it's one of the ugliest emotion. He said it's one of the observed emotion ever human being can be experienced. They always try to us to push it away, right? So, and he also gave us a really theoretical question. He said that, look, would you return bite the dog or kick the mole? And there's a really great story of Cato, which will illustrate this idea really perfect. I think I've told this story before. I will tell more time. Cato was as one of the strict philosopher in the history. He was bumped into one guy and he punched it in the face, and he resisted and he walked away. After a couple of hours, the guy who punched the Cato realized that he did something wrong. He went to apologize to Cato. And Cato said that I don't remember being hit. He just mastered one of the strongest mindset ever because he was not triggered by anger. He was not triggered by his emotion. He wouldn't sink his emotion to the level of emotion, same behavior as that guy did to him, right? So for Stoic people, to lose to lose controlling one's temper, controlling one's emotion is a element of masculinity, right? So because losing of someone control or emotion or temper, it signifies lose lack of self-control, which will basically not make you great or the best or masculine man, right? So Stoic philosophy teach us to be less emotion but not emotionless. That's one of the big misconception that people have right now. They think that Stoic would make us Stoic make us uh, uh, don't feel emotions. Stoic doesn't know about love, doesn't know about this stuff, but that's wrong. Marcus Aurelius himself has spotted in numerous occasions when he was tearing up, right? When his one of his beloved teacher was passed away, he was crying as a young boy. And one of his teachers said that, you know what, we don't cry, we don't do that here. But his stepfather came out and said that let the boy to be human, right? Also, when Marcus Aurelius, when the Rome had a experience of the worst destruction ever in the world, where Marcus Aurelius happened to be emperor. The Rome had basically attacked by virus and millions of people were wiped out. Marcus Aurelius was crying because he couldn't do anything to go against this virus because he had no power. He was crying to see his fellow citizens were dying every single day, right? Although when he was told that he was going to be next emperor of Rome, he was crying because of overwhelming responsibility of being a emperor, right? So Marcus Aurelius had to realize that, acknowledge that he had an emotion, but he was not trying to be slave by it. Point is, rule is to go back to your path, to be not controlled by your emotion, to not make a stupid or regrettable choices, do something because of lack of control, right? It's all about understanding your emotion and going through and work out with it, right? So acknowledge that you're not impressing, you're not amusing anyone by pretending to be emotionless robot, right? So there's a one modern Stoic, which I am forgetting his name. Just a minute. His name is Adam Kinsger. Adam Kinsger is a man who stood up to one of the powerful men in the earth. His name is, of course, Donald Trump, the US of President of America. Adam was in the army force. He rescued women in the knife fight. He tore up in a hearing in a code. Despite of he insulted, he criticized by it, Adam actually gave us really great definition of masculinity. He said that masculinity means that being in touch with your emotion. Masculinity means to fight for bigger courses than you are. Masculinity means that protect your family, protect people who needs to be protected, right? This is perfectly aligned with Marcus Aurelius' responses to the challenges he had experienced as an emperor of Rome, right? So you have to realize it that to be able to to be able to fight through life challenges with emotion is also one of the part of being a good and really good stoic, right? So yeah, so next one. Stoic are not overwhelmed by stress, are not controlled by external things, or they were not racked by anxiety. But point for them was to be not to be less emotional, but not emotion less. Okay, so our next powerful rule is to caring for the people and contribute for society. Stoic with the Stoic philosophy said that great man and good man is someone who care about other people, who contribute for society, right? As Marcus already said, that act for common good as a fruit of life, right? So Stoic people were active in the politics, or active in armies, or participate in helping the people, which would pay forward, so would help other people, which possibly, right? There's a really great differentiation with the two emperor. One of them is Nero, one of them is Marcus Aurelius. Both of them were realm of the emperor in different period, right? Nero is stated and told is one of the worst emperor ever had lived in the realm, ever served as a realm of emperor. He was indulged by his passion. He was indulged by his egoistic. He was indulged. He was controlled by his ambitions, right? He was a child man, whereas Marcus Aurelius was responsible adult. He was a mature, responsible adult who is a command of himself, which is basically aligned with idea of Stoic idea of being a man, being a hero, right? So our next uh yeah also, so you have the next one, you have the Stoic see that every individual, people who live in this earth, as a citizen of the world, who has a inherited obligation and duty to help each other, to respect each other, to be able to go a hand when hand is asked, right? If you think that philosophy or Stoic philosophy or masculinity is about being a sociopath, is about giving a no shit or damn about the people, you're getting wrong. Because philosophy is about helping other people. It's about being able to help them when it's needed, right? So, next idea: humility, or egoism. So the Zeno, who's a founder of Stoicism, he said that he would dislike student who's a conceived one, right? The Epictetus would also expand this idea by saying that, look, it's impossible to learn that which you think you have already learned, right? He basically said that, basically tell us that arrogance is a barrier for growing, for getting better as a human being, right? Marcus Aurelius, powerful book Meditation is all about, it was basically written intellectual humanity, right? So Marcus Aurelius had also realized that he was just ordinary man like us, and even if he was an emperor of Rome, this rule was not gonna apply to him. He was not exceptional. He was not exceptional to this rule. He would die also. He was immortal, like he is immortal like us, right? He understand that his name also would be forgotten as a previous emperor of the people name had forgotten as well. He would try to challenge himself everything else. He would try to get better as a human, even if he was emperor of the Rome, right? There's the one story which I want to tell about Marcus Aurelius. When Marcus Aurelius was spotted to get out in his house by a couple of his friend stopped and asked him, like, where are you going? And he said that I am going to my philosophy teaches how to learn the thing which I have not yet learned, right? The guy who had immense amount of power in his hand. He was emperor of Rome at the time. He could have asked that teacher to come in his house. He could have commanded one of the intuition's strongest philosopher in the world, but he didn't. He would respect his teacher. He would try to learn what he has not learned as a human being, right? So I think like now we have a different in modern life a different definition of masculinity. We think like masculinity is all about showing up or our money, driving expensive cars, or being in suits, or living in big houses, or bullying other people. But that's wrong. Stoic are defined as a kind, is a humble and confident, right? Confident is totally is considered as opposite of egotism, right? If you go to jiu-jitsu or karate gym, you kind of realize it that one of the respected, one of the nicest men is the man who has the highest belt. But people who has a lower belt, they always one who try to show off. He try to prove something, have a some sort of insecurity. They're always the one who's aggressive one, right? The confident is definition of confident in Stoicism is basically to understand your things. It paired with understanding your weakness, which is conversely egoism is totally opposite of this, which is a dangerous feeling, which has to be pushed away, right? Our last idea and our last suggestion is redefine ambitions. When you look when you look back to your life when you were 20, when you were 19, when you were like young, you had an immense amount of ambitions, right? You want to be rich, you want to have a immense amount of money, you want to be successful, you want to make people wrong, you want to make your parents proud, which is great to get off your couch earlier, get out of your house earlier, to do something, to become someone that you can make your parents proud. But Stoic has a kind of interesting relationship with ambition, which always try to encourage us to be conscious. The Marcus Aurelius said that in his book Meditation. He said that the problem with ambition is how it's written to impress other people, how it's written to get done work which are external, which are not within our control. It's basically the validation of one of the most important, one of the most crucial idea of stoicism, which we cannot control what's happening to us, but we can control how we respond to what's happening, right? So basically, Marcus Aurelius basically tell that ambitions is trying to do things toward what people say or does. Boy, but sanity is opposite. Sanity is do things in the way you want. Do things because you want them to do, right? So it's basically encourage us, tell us that Stoic people were trying to do what within their control, right? Instead of control was not within their control, or validation, or approval, or winning, or conquering something. The Seneca said, one of the general of the Rome, he said that he commanded army, but ambitions commanded him, right? To basically illustrate the fact that ambitions usually can be master, can be slave, can slave of you, instead of being a tool which is supposed to be, right? So for Stoic, being a man is basically to be confident, to be able to be comfortable with yourself, right? Instead of looking for validation or winning thing or conquering thing, or working with the people which you will just waste your basically which will your time, right? So Yeah, that's the idea. So instead, Stoic people would always try to control what is within your control, right? So redefinition of ambitions will definitely help you to shift your mindset from external thing or approval or validation or winning thing from the internal practice, internal mastery in controlling your emotion, right? And be content to believe content with the thing that you have, right? So you have to understand masculinity is found in a self-control, but not not conquering things or not controlled by external thing or the other stuff. So that was our last idea and last suggestion about have to be men, have to be masculinity. I hope this our ideas which I shared was helpful. I hope you got lots of benefit. I hope that you'll practice, you'll try to work on these things. You will maybe change your definition of masculinity if you have probably gotten it wrong. And guys, I'm always appreciate. Thank you for your time to watch it, and thank you for your hard work to be able to learn about Stoic philosophy and do something about your life and try to find out what you're meant for come this life and try to find your purpose as a human being. And I'm really appreciated. And if you have any questions, you can always write a comment, which I'll always read it. And please subscribe our channel if you like it, if you think it's worth it, if you think that you can get any benefit, or otherwise I don't care. It doesn't matter because I'm doing it because I want to help people. I want to introduce what's the philosophy to the modern life, right? I want them to understand what it can give you, and I believe that's going to help you a lot. And thank you for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.